All right, guys, happy Tuesday. It is our third call of the month, and I just want to take a second and say thank you so much for dedicating this time for us. I know it's a crazy time of year. Lots of little ones have performances tonight, which is why a majority of our team is missing, and I truly appreciate Meredith, who is our speaker tonight, jumping on because we are in for such a treat. So anyone that watches back, if you have questions, please shoot them in the team page. And if I can't answer them myself, I will make sure that we get them over to Meredith and get them answered. You can also post them in the event, so she will see them also. But before I transition over to her, there's just a couple housekeeping things that I want to go over. So you guys know that tomorrow we have a little bit of CEST starting. I've been seeing you guys blow it up, and you're sharing transformations, you're inviting people like crazy. So bravo, keep up the incredible work. I'm so pumped for what this is going to do. And honestly, having that ability all the way up until launch for those 5 days is like gold. And I know that we're in a little bit of a rural area, and we've been having clients who are running into the issue where they want the DVD. What I've been suggesting is that when a little bit obsessed releases one each day, have them download it and they can do it the next morning, because I know that it's tricky for a lot of people, especially in those remote areas. Same thing with 80-Day Obsession. When that launches, we're going to get those a week at a time. So they're going to have the ability to download those and save those to their computer. If you haven't been advertising and you haven't been inviting, guys, you haven't missed the boat, but please, 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 do not come next week and be like, I don't know what to do. There's tons of content in the team page. There's tons of content in our coach, A Little Obsessed group. And if you need anything, please don't hesitate to post it in the team page. I know this next week is going to be crazy for all of us with the holidays, but that's not an excuse to slow down. Let's continue that momentum, because everyone's looking to us right now to see what we're doing, right? They're looking to see if we are going to fall off track, if we're going to stop our fitness. And this is a time for us to show up in our business, make that non-negotiable. We don't want to be feeling like crap after the holidays. We don't want to be making excuses. So I'm really proud of all the people that I see on the call right now, because I know what you're doing. I know that you're showing up, and you're showing up in a big way. So bravo, kudos to you. I want to give a special shout out to Leah. She's actually only two coaches, not emeralds, two coaches away from hitting diamond. And her goal is to achieve that by the end of the month, which I know she's going to make that happen. I see a fire that is just like a light switch turned on, and she is on fire. And I just appreciate the way that you are stepping up as a leader for our team. Same for you, Susan. I know you're not on the call, but when you watch this back, I hope you know how appreciated you are. You guys helping with the coach sneak peek. That's such a big deal and so appreciated. And the more that you guys are leading, your team's going to catch on to that. And the people that are joining you, they're going to duplicate what you're doing. So keep up that work. And Vicki, I know you just jumped on the call, but you're constantly doing so much for others. I hope that you take some time this next week for yourself. Congratulations on your big 10-year anniversary with your company. I'm super proud of you, and we just love you and adore you so much. And Amanda, I know you just jumped on too, and I have to just love on you for a second, because the same thing, it's like a light switch changed, and the energy and leadership that you bring to our team is like infectious. And Amanda reached out to me the other day, and she's like, what do you need for Super Saturday? She knows that we do this quarterly event, and she wants to step up and help host with that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I really can't say any more amazing things about our team, but I just love you guys, and I appreciate you so much, especially this time of year, especially with so much transition that we've been having, and the way that you guys are showing up in our customer group as well, like with our clients. That's a big deal. That's a really, really, really big deal. And the people that are watching you, they're going to see this, and all those no's that I hear people are getting right now, take that as such a blessing, because they're going to blossom. I mean, I have people this week who I've been asking for, like last night I was on the phone with a girl I've been trying to work with for a year that kept saying no, she didn't have time, it wasn't for her, she worked out at the gym. And then she messaged me yesterday and was like, okay, what's this 80-day thing? So keep sharing, because people are watching. And then it's in the moments when people quit, they notice that too. So that is it. I hope that you guys have an amazing holiday with your family. I hope you know how loved you are. And I hope to see many of you at Super Saturday. And if you're not local, that you'll get to a local one. And if you need assistance in finding one, please, please, please post in the team page so I can help you. Or you can shoot me a message and I can direct you in the back office on where to find that. Bring a friend with you if you're uncomfortable and you've never been to one. That's a great way to introduce people into the coaching opportunity. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to introduce our guest. I reached out in our 5 A-Star group a couple weeks ago and I was like, listen, I need someone. I want to swap calls. And Meredith was the first one to pop up and say, I'll swap calls with you, which was truly an honor because I shared with you guys before, I followed her journey as a brand new coach. And if you don't know who Meredith is, I'm going to give you some of her accolades. She signed up in 2013. She's a 3-time top 100 elite coach, which means top 1% of the company. Her team is just full of rock stars and killing it. She has made 6 figures the past 2 years. Success Club 10 legend for over 50 months, you guys. 50 months consistently, no breaks, no days off for her, right? She's an organizational leader. She's actually just spoke on the National Wake Up Call. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to that, go back, listen to it. Amazing nuggets in there. She just hit 7-star. Okay. So when she shared this with me, she was in 6-star qualification and praying to make it through it because that wasn't her first time going through it. And we talk about this all the time, right? We talk about even if you miss your goal, that doesn't mean that you give up on it. You keep going towards it. And I think she said this was her third time that she had been in that qual, and she made it, and she hit 7 stars. So she's really, really amazing. I enjoy watching her journey, and her team adds a lot of value to the network. So without further ado, I'm going to mute myself, and Meredith, you can take it over.
Well, thank you for that lovely introduction. It's really kind of fun and humbling to hear that. And, I say that because I've been a coach. I just had my 4-year coach anniversary. And I remember, of course, we all remember when we were a brand new coach, my biggest thing as a brand new coach was getting on that national wake call. And I still get on every single week because it feeds me to the core, always hearing from somebody new with like dynamic bullet points of what I need to do to run my business. And what I love about the National Wake Up Call is every week it's someone different. They all have a different way of running their business, but at the same time, the core values of what they do are very similar. And it's just such a great way to learn from other entrepreneurs that maybe think more like you do than you do with your upline. So I think the very first call I got on, I was like, wow, this is a real possibility to build something out of this. And I remember there was an early call. I couldn't even tell you who it was, but there was a woman that spoke and basically said, like, she'd been a Jane of all trades and she'd done all these things in life. And I was like, oh, that's me. And she was like, I kept thinking about, what if I never gave up on all those things I gave up on? I did for a few years, I quit. I did for a few years and quit. What if I actually stayed with them and just like did them? Like by now, 10 years later, wouldn't I be awesome? Whether it was that you're playing the tuba or like whatever it is, right? Like, wouldn't you be freaking awesome at it? And it's like, you have to pick that one thing that's going to be your jam and you have to put everything into it. And it was in that moment on that call, and I wish I knew who it was so I could thank her, but it was in that moment on that call that I was like, this is going to be my jam. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to coach. I'm going to help people. I'm going to transform lives by using this online platform to help people with their fitness and their nutrition. And I'm going to get on this call. I'm going to tell people in a year from now how I did it. It took me 4 years to get on the call. But whatever. I finally had the chance to tell people how I did it. But, tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about how I did that and my story coming into it. And really how I did that, you guys, was Success Club. And so there's going to be a big conversation about the importance of it tonight. But to help me get a better parameter about where you're at and how I can really help you best, I'll be honest with you, like I can throw a lot of words out there, but it's pointless for me to just share my story and share about Success Club unless I know how it really applies to where you're at in your business and where you need support most. So if I could ask for you to do me the biggest favor in the world, I'll have you stop whatever you're doing for just 60 seconds and write in the chat box and tell me, you know, when did you sign up as a coach? What is your rank? What are your average Success Club points and how long has that been for? What do you feel super awesome about? Like, what are you great at? And what is your biggest struggle? I just gave you 5 things. I can't even repeat them. One of them was like, tell me when you started as a coach. Tell me what rank you are. Tell me what your average Success Club points and how long, like if you're Success Club 5 consistently for 5 months, or if you go in and out. Tell me what you feel like you do really well and tell me what you struggle with. So that way I can get an idea of who I'm speaking to and really deliver you the best content. But while you're doing that, I'll share a little bit about myself. Because I don't expect anybody to know who I am. Like I'm just some random girl in San Diego that decided to become a Beachbody coach. Ironically, I almost feel like I could have been a founding coach because my first Beachbody program I ever purchased on an infomercial about 10 years ago, I was up late watching TV. It was 1 a.m. and I stumbled upon the Turbo Jam infomercial and I fell in love. And it was the first infomercial purchase I ever made in my entire life. I remember sitting there with my credit card, and at the time, I don't know if you guys ever saw the old infomercials, there was like the delivery truck with the FedEx and it was like, you have 10 minutes to get in on this deal. And I was so excited, and I got my DVDs and I fell in love. I fell in love with Chalene. I fell in love with the energy. I fell in love with working out at my house because I was nervous when I go to the gym. I didn't know what I was doing there, and I didn't feel comfortable with my body. So I didn't always love working out in front of other people, and I didn't love how uncoordinated I was. But working out in my home with Chalene and her crew, Janelle and everybody, it just felt right. And I went hard and I loved it. And it just became a part of me. So I ordered every DVD in the series. I still have them all. They're collecting dust because I use BOD now. But I ordered every single DVD. And from there, it rippled out. And I got Slim in 6 and P90X, the original, Yoga Booty Ballet. And I just kept buying these things. And, there was probably a coach that sent me a newsletter way back when. I'm pretty positive there was. I'm sure I was assigned to someone. And for some reason, I didn't make the connection. And it might be because she didn't really make a personal reach out. It was just getting her random newsletters. But I did know about the Wowie super boards or whatever they were. And I would kind of talk about what would it look like if I was a coach? Like, what do you do as a coach? And I just kind of wrote it off as something that's not for me. It's not where I was at that point in my life. I was working full-time in music and studio production, and I wasn't making music, but I was just working on the production and the management side of it. And I would say my work environment wasn't the healthiest environment. There was a lot of drug abuse and alcohol abuse around me, and part of my job as a rep and a producer was taking people out and drinking with them. And it's a very, very social environment. And while I was at the same time trying to get over some of these things in my life and become a better individual, I was going to spin class. I was doing these Beachbody workouts for myself. I was going to Weight Watchers. I was doing all these things to grow myself. I also had this part of my life that I was still suffering with because it was my career to kind of be involved in this not so healthy area of life. So I decided to learn for myself. I dealt with a lot of digestive issues throughout my entire life, a lot of health issues. So I decided to do a distance study course to learn what it was to be a holistic healer, did my holistic health certification, And as I started to learn about holistic health and started to use the practices on myself, and I was finding this healthier journey, I couldn't help but want to share it and get involved in all these other aspects of it. So even though I wasn't a Beachbody coach, I was starting to like coach people in the sense that like someone at the office would notice I was losing weight and they wanted help, and I'd start making smoothies for them or telling them what I was eating or giving them recipes and that sort of thing. So it was just this profound part of me that I really wanted to make a difference and start helping people in that sense. Cut to sometime later, I came down here from LA, I moved to San Diego. I started my yoga teacher training. And for the past 6 years before Team Beachbody re-entered my life, I worked in the yoga community here in San Diego. I taught yoga classes full-time. That's about 16 to 18 yoga classes per week. It's very exhausting. It's very minimal pay, but I was doing what I really enjoyed. I was teaching wellness workshops and detox workshops, occasionally through the studios. I was running a blog where I got to talk about food as medicine and how I had really overcome a lot of my digestive malaise through food, you know, and learning what foods work for me and what foods don't. And it became full circle here at like, you know, what was 4 years ago, about 6 years into my journey down here in San Diego, when I was ready for more. I was ready for more in two ways. One, I was ready to take my health and fitness to the next level, meaning that I was already fueling my body good, but we're all human, and I ran into my own personal struggles, you know, with like imbibing at night on wine and then eating all the cookies and that sort of thing. I needed help, you know, like everybody, I'm human. So there was that side of me where I actually needed some support and to get on a program that wasn't just myself. I needed something outside of me. And then the other side of me is that I have an entrepreneur mind, and I was very interested in creating some sort of platform that was online where I could actually launch a real business, because what I was doing was a real business that wasn't making me any money. So I was ready to like develop ebooks or to have some sort of online presence. So I was doing the research. I was buying Tone It Up and Dammy and looking at all these girls that sold the ebooks online and did free digital downloads. And I was downloading them all and buying them all. I'm like, I'm just going to write this off as taxes as research, because I need to know what others are doing that are making them successful, because I need to be successful, because what do we always say? Success leaves clues, right? So that's really where my journey began. I stumbled upon my coach, who's now my coach, at that time on Instagram. And she was just a girl that looked like me in the sense we had the same fashion sense. We both were blondies. We both I wasn't living in Portland at the time, but she was living in Portland. So we lived in the same sort of essence. She was into yoga and into fitness. And she was talking about what she was doing and how she was creating this business as a coach. And it intrigued me. And it wasn't just that she was sharing her business, she was sharing her fitness journey and the progress she was having along the way. And it was impressive and it intrigued me. And so when I finally reached out, and honestly, I was not following her. Like, it wasn't like I was following her. I fell upon her and I was like, I like her. I dig her. Like, she's great at storytelling. And I get, she would talk about her struggles, how she struggled with alcohol and drugs and things. I was like, oh my gosh, I was stuck in that work environment. I struggle with those same things. So we had this connective tissue. And so she did a call to action on one of her posts, and it was for a 60-day challenge. And it probably said what it was. It might've said T25. I really don't know. It didn't make any sense to me at the time. I just knew there was a 60-day challenge, a way for me to do the challenge as a coach for free. So there was something in there, and I don't remember how it was worded, but there was some wording in there that said, you know, I would get a meal plan, I would get supplements or superfoods, or Shakeology, which I probably didn't know what it was. I would have a fitness calendar. It was like, we're all doing it together. And that if I became a coach and helped her coach the challenge, she was looking for like 5 people that wanted to help her be support coaches, that I would be able to earn my spot in that boot camp for free. So however it was worded, that's how I received it. And I was like, I'm a poor yoga teacher that wants to get fit, and I'm an entrepreneur that loves fitness and health. So yes, I want the boot camp, and yes, I want to be a coach. When she actually wrote me and we had that virtual connection, she mentioned it was Beachbody, and I was like, oh, okay, no, I don't think, thank you, but no thank you, essentially. And as you know my story, it's not because I didn't like Beachbody. I love Beachbody. I own a lot of I actually owned Insanity too, that I bought years later and I never completed. I love Beachbody, and I know the programs are effective. I had lost over 30 pounds using Beachbody workouts, but I was looking to open my own business and my own brand. And so I didn't understand linking up with their company that had a brand. So as we always say, the fortune is in the follow-up. And so she had to follow up with me and lean into my meditations and say, you know, okay, well, what is it about Beachbody, especially if you've owned Turbo Jam or all these other things? What is it that you feel like isn't a good connection for you? Because as you mentioned before, you were interested in losing 10 pounds, getting in better shape, doing all these things. Why don't you get started anyway? Do the challenge with us, enroll as a coach. And that way, if you're, you know, if you invite some friends to do it, you're going to earn your investment back in your challenge pack for free. I was the girl that didn't want Shakeology. I was the girl that had every superfood. I was actually working for another superfood company out here. And she was just like, it's part of the challenge. It comes with it. It's 100% money back guarantee. If you don't love it, you can send it back, but it's part of the challenge and it's how you get enrolled. So I bit the bullet, right? She had to lean into hesitation and I bit the bullet and I got signed up. And I'll tell you, before I even received it in the mail, I had already planned to not like Shakeology. I already planned that it wasn't going to be part of my protocol, but I did plan that I needed to get my investment paid off. And I feel like that's the first time, before I even knew what Success Club was, that I was like, I need to get in Success Club. Didn't know what it was. Didn't even know there was a name for it. But what I did know is that if I helped 3 people, that was going to help me earn my investment back. And I did not have the money for my challenge pack. That thing went on my credit card and I'm like, I got to get it paid off. So before I even got it in the mail, because we didn't have BOD then, I had made a list of 25 people that I wanted to invite to do the challenge with me. Girls that I knew through the yoga studio, girls that had gone to spin classes with me before, girls that had been accountability buddies with me before, girls that I talked about food with before, girls that I'd had in workshops before, like whatever it was. I didn't care. I made a list and I just started to reach out to them. And I was like, hey girl, I just signed up for the 60-day challenge. I'm kind of freaking out. I'd love some accountability buddies to do it with me because there's no way I'm going to be able to keep myself accountable. Do you have any fitness goals right now? Would you be interested in doing a fitness challenge with me for the next 60 days? And you know, it took going through that 25 to maybe get like 3 whispers. And then I made a new list of 25 and I did the same. And that's how I tell my coaches to get signed up to this, started to this day, is to make a list and work through the list. And I'll tell you, every single month, I still work from a list. So that's really how I launched my business, was getting into Success Club before I even knew what Success Club was. And, you know, at my first GSR call with my coach, she was telling me all about Success Club, and she would say SC and PV and all these things. And I was like, I don't even know. It's like you're speaking gibberish. Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's in my head. Like, she was trying to keep it as simple as possible, but it still made no sense. And I was like, okay, I got to help people. That's all I got. I got to help people. So that really was it, is I started talking to everyone up and down and sideways. I had the 3-foot rule. If you're in 3 feet from me, we're going to have a conversation, and it's probably going to start talking about a challenge. So, you know, when I would show up for work and someone was like, hey girl, what's new? I'd be like, well, usually it's when I usually say, oh, you know, same old, same old. I was like, well, actually, I just got started on a 60-day fitness challenge. I'm like on the 7th day, I'm like doing this crazy challenge with all these people, and people love to make conversation. And they'd be like, well, that's cool. What are you doing? I'm like, I don't even know. I just signed up for this thing with this girl I didn't even know. And I just started it, and it's super fun. I have a couple girlfriends joining me. And I would just say, oh my God, would you do it with me? I could use all the accountability in the world. I could use help. And it just was like an organic invite. And so a lot of people would have some goals. And instead of trying to talk to them there, because you know word vomiting, I'm going to stick my foot in my mouth, I'm going to word vomit all over them, I would just be like, can I email you later? Can I send you a text? Can we talk outside of work? And they'd say, yeah, sure. And then I would change the subject. And I would do what the company tells us to do, which is forming, which is just becoming a human being and building a relationship and making a conversation. So I'd say, I will absolutely send you some information on it. I would love to have you do it with me. Tell me about you. How are you? What are you doing? I haven't seen you in forever. How are your kids? Are you still working here? Last I saw you, you were with so-and-so. Change the conversation and make it about them, and have them leave that conversation feeling good and feeling like you care and that you are connected to them and truly care about them, so that when you follow up later and you give them a call or you shoot them an email and you're like, oh my gosh, it was so great to connect with you. It was so exciting to hear about XYZ. I wanted to make sure that we also connected about the challenge. I know you mentioned that you might be interested. I would love to have accountability buddies. Tell me what you're working on right now with your fitness and health. Tell me what you're struggles are. What questions do you have for me that I can answer for you in regards to what it is or like what we're doing? So that's really how I began my business and started my business, and, you know, just talking to freaking everybody and their mom. So, okay. So let me read through your chats really quick to see where you guys are. 5-star Melissa Galame. Okay. July 2016 Emerald, average SE 0. Okay. So we'll talk about that. SC Legend, congratulations, average SC 14. Great. I'm going to push you a little bit. November 2016 Emerald, congratulations. 1 week. Welcome to the team, Corbin. Boom. 2014, 2016, 2017 Emerald, now back to coach, average success club point 0 to 2. Guys, we have a lot of talking to do. Vicky says 0. I'm not sure when my start date was. Lifetime Emerald, but I'm coach right now. My biggest struggle is sticking with the program from start to finish. Girl, you're not alone. Talking about being sharing is my strength. Being a product of the product is a huge strength for me. Good. That's really important. Working on consistency, good at connecting with others, getting more comfortable at inviting and being confident, very important. Time to reach out and get people signed up is my weakness. Okay. Feeling like there is so much of me, only so much of me to give and spread so thin. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, babe. Oh my God, same story for me. Amazing. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you guys, this is what you need to know. First of all, you need to get out of your own way, and you need to get out of your head. You need to be consistent, because I will promise you, anyone who is Emerald, who is at SC0, has done a couple things or not done a couple things. Number one, they haven't screwed on their CEO hat. You're not taking this seriously. And you know what? If you don't want to take this seriously, if you don't want to be where I am today, if you don't want to earn 6 figures, then maybe it's okay what you're doing. You know, like I'm just, when I get on these calls, I speak to business builders because that's what I did. And that's what I know. And that's what I train people to be. But I can only train someone to be a business builder if they're willing to do the work. And if they're willing to get out of the employee mindset and step into the CEO mindset. And what I say by that, what I mean by that is, like, most of us are raised in an employee mindset. You go, you clock into a job, you work at a job, you come home and you relax. And when you're working for somebody else, you do whatever you need to do just to get the job done. And then you go home and you throw your feet up and you forget about it. When you're an entrepreneur, you are going to work harder than you've ever worked in your entire life. But hopefully you're in the right field. So your work, I'm not going to say it never feels like work, because there's going to be stuff you don't necessarily love doing. But the work is passion work. And so it really is hard to shut off because you enjoy it so much. But if you want to create growth and if you want to create change, you have to make sacrifices and you have to make space. So if you're someone that's like, I feel spread too thin and I don't have enough time in my day, the first thing you might need to consider is, you know, are you overwhelmed with your to-do list? Like, do you even know, do you just have a to-do list of 100 things that you don't even know where to start with it or how to prioritize that? Because I bet you, if you take your to-do list, your business to-do list, and you send it to Melissa with the goal you want to achieve, she's going to be able to tell you, like, this doesn't need to be on your to-do list. This does. Like, you're spending too much time over here doing things you don't need to be doing. Here you need to be doing, right? So, like, simplify what you need to do in your business power hour, or if you have no time, your business 30 minutes or whatever it is, or your power 2 hours, by telling Melissa what your goal is, what you want to achieve, and what needs to go on your to-do list. And then make that to-do list of exactly what you need to do in that time. And I'll tell you, the income producing activities are going to be inviting, following up, adding new people to your network, and starting new conversations. That means that there does have to be hard dates on your book. You have to know when your next challenge group is starting up. It doesn't mean that everybody has to sign up by that date. I let people in all month long. So I'll have a hard deadline, because hard deadlines close people. So if you're all willy-nilly, like, yeah, we're going to be going, we're going to start on like a Monday or whatever, like, okay, well then, like, I'll reach out to you whenever. But if you're like, we are starting in 24 hours, you need to sign up now. And if you don't want the spot, I have a list of 10 people that want it. Do you want it or not? Even if you don't have a list of 10 people, create urgency. So making those hard close deadlines. But even if someone wrote to me 2 days later and said, hey, I really want in that group, if I really didn't cap it at 10 people, I could say, listen, I'll let you slide, I'll let you in, but you're going to be 3 days behind most of the girls, but we do have girls that join every Monday. So you'll be fine. Are you ready? Right? So you can still get them in later, but you want to get them that hard deadline so that they actually pull the trigger. And that's really, really important. The invites, the follow-ups, all of that needs to happen consistently. Like, again, when I say you've got to screw on your CEO hat, you have to be ready to sit down and do the work for your business. And I'll tell you, you guys, if you're serious about opening a business, any business that's let's take a brick and mortar business, because that's what most businesses are. This is the only business that I know that you do not have an overhead. You are never going to go in the red. You are only going to have an opportunity to look at my top coach, Moira, on my team used to run a cold pressed juice business. It drove her into the ground. They had to take a double mortgage on their home to keep the juice press alive. She left the company, sold the company when she became a coach, because within a couple months, she was able to open up a business that was in profit. And she saw pure profit by doing what she loved, helping people. But she also knew she was going to have to sacrifice and go all in, right? She was going to have to make changes. So you have to create that sacrifice, because if you have a brick and mortar, if I have a health coaching business, even outside of Team Beachbody, if I'm an online entrepreneur, have a brick and mortar, whatever it is, and I don't have at least 3 people every single month signing up for my program, whatever it might look like, if I don't have 3 clients every single month, do I have a business? I don't even have a hobby. I don't have anything. You guys, you have to have at least 3 people every single month. And Success Club is actually really, really easy to ascertain, because there's so many ways to get it. They just actually opened up those mega packs from 80-Day Obsession. Those are now worth 3 success points. They just made it official that if you had a client 6 months ago that hasn't purchased in the past 6 months, 6 months or longer ago, that hasn't purchased in the past 6 months, you re-engage them and get them recommitted, you're going to get Success Clubs on them again. That's amazing. For those of you that have been around for a while, those of you that said you've been here for 3 years and you're out, you get 2 points for any challenge pack outside of those mega packs. You get 2 points for any 90 PV home direct order. So that could be a performance stack. It could be a Shakeology order. You get 1 point for any multi HD order that adds up to 90 PV. So if you get somebody on 3 Shakeology boosts, that's 1 Success Club point. There's so many ways to get Success Club. I mean, there's so many ways to earn income outside of that by getting, PV and helping people with their healthy formula. But the most economical and smartest way to get people started is with a bundle. Like, why try to find a healthy formula of I'm going to get you this for $99, and then I'm going to get you this for $30, and I'm going to get you this for $40. It's like, in the end, it adds up to be more than just getting them started for either $160 on an all access pass, $170 on the, BOD 80-Day Obsession all access pass, or I think it's $130 if somebody's already on all access and you upgrade them with the Shakeology and Fixate challenge pack. Even cheaper. It's like the best deal ever, and the return is amazing. But what you also have to remember is what I was saying about consistency is you have to sit down and devise the time to do the work. And that might be if you're serious about your business, that might be 4 a.m. When I was working full time and just starting my business, I would get up, my first yoga class, I had to be at the studio at 5:30. So I get up 4:30, do my T25 workout. 4:30 is not a cute hour, but I get up at 4:30, I do my workout because I knew that I wasn't going to get it done later in the day. And then in between the cracks of my day, when I had hour gaps, which would be like people's work breaks, that was like my work break, that's when I would sit down and do the work. But I had to be organized going into that hour. I had to, if I only had 2 1-hour breaks, I had to take 1 hour to organize my lists, organize my follow-ups, so that my next hour I could sit down and actually do the work. So you're going to have to sacrifice time. You're going to have to ask your family for support and help with it if you're really serious about it. And maybe you need to ask yourself, is your why deep enough? And if you're really serious about moving your business forward, or if you just want to be part of the community, which is awesome too, but if you're serious about building your business, you have to be using Success Club. You have to be using it as a recognition marker, because it's going to get you on the Success Club trip. It's going to earn you income. It's going to earn you monthly prizes. It's going to get you on recognition boards. These are all things that people are going to see and you're going to have to talk about that are going to drive momentum. And the compound effect is a really big piece of Success Club. And hopefully you guys have read the compound effect. And if you haven't, please do read it. But, I just had my team call right before this, and one of my new coaches from January got on. She's going to be a lifetime 1-star this week. And she was really talking about the compound effect. And she said, it's taken 6 months she's been consistent all year long with Success Club. But for the past 6 months, since she really screwed her head on and said, I'm putting my CEO cap on, and I'm really taking this seriously, and I'm going to show up every day consistently, and I'm going to do my social media posts. I'm going to do my invites. I'm going to reach out to at least 2 people a day. Ever since she's done that, she said, here it is, the last few days, every single day, I've got people reaching out to me that I didn't know, that are said, hey, I've been watching your journey for the past 6 months. It's super inspiring. I want to do whatever you're doing. And she's talking to 80-day obsession up and down and sideways. That's all she's talking about on social media, So those are really important pieces to understand. I will tell you, all of my coaches who are in the same boat as I see some of you saying, that are I'm stuck, I'm at SC0 on the average, I'm on Emerald, I'm at Emerald, where I fluctuate in and out of Emerald. You guys, it's a decision. That's all it is. It's like the day that I was on the call, the National Wake Up Call, and I heard the girl say, you got to pick one focus, and you go all in, and you never give up on it. You don't just never give up, but you just don't pick up the tuba and not play the tuba. Whatever the example was I used before, you pick up the tuba and you keep playing the tuba, and you actually sit down and play it for an hour every single day. And guess what happens in 10 years? You get really good at the freaking tuba. So that's what I'm saying. You can't just have this business on the side for 3 years and